a clipboard that has, you'll fill out your cheerleader's name and then your name, your email, and any vacation days that you might know of off the top of your head for the whole entire year, okay? And I know some of those may change, but it'd be great to have an idea. And then this is a checklist, so let us know if you don't have one of these. I'm gonna let Chloe, if you kind of want to like watch as parents come in and like see if there's anybody new, you can hand one to them. Somewhere. Well, just come back to you. Okay, so those will start coming around. I will go ahead and get started. I know we may have, it's like right at 6, so we may have a couple people coming in. But if I don't know you, thank you so much for coming to XCA and checking out our program. My name is Brianna, and I'm the owner. And over here is my mom, and she is also one of the owners and the desk people. So if you haven't met her, feel free to stop by and hang out and ask her some questions as well. This is one of our coaches, Debbie. She's going to be videoing me tonight, so we'll try to keep the volume down. I'll be loud, but if you guys can kind of keep it down a little bit. We're going to send this out so that if anybody has questions, you need to refer back of things that we talked about, or if you guys have questions that get answered that I forget to talk about, it'll all be recorded, and so that everyone can have the same information. Cool? And then that's my baby, Aiden. So he's going to talk to everybody. Last year we did the same video. He was in my belly, and I just watched it recently, and I was like huge. So he's 10 months, and then we have some of our other coaches that are here tonight. We have Coach Brad. He'll be doing private lessons. We have Coach Alyssa, that's my sister, and Coach Haley, which is my brother's wife, and she's getting ready to have a baby as well. We have Coach Jordan, who's stretching with the next class, and Sydney is here somewhere as well, and she's getting ready to have a baby too, so we're having all kinds of babies in the gym. But if any others stop by, feel free after this meeting, if they are available and you have any questions for them, they can try and answer questions as best as possible. But if you need to talk to me, I'll be available afterwards. My mom will be available, and we'll try to help you with as many questions as we have, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to get started with our checklist, and then we'll go over just some of the things that you guys will be, points that we'll go over, and things that you'll need to return before the start of our season, okay? So first job was to attend the parent meeting tonight, so good job. Sign in at the parent meeting, make sure you put down vacation times, and we will be sending a copy tonight of the contract pages and all the paperwork. So it's a lot of like paperwork to read through, so we couldn't like print that many pages out, so we'll email it to you for you guys to look over. We do have pricing sheets and the schedules to send home with you in paper form, so you can see those tonight. But everything else will be our contract. Oh, okay.
So they can just kind of look at it if they want to see it, but it will be in the email that'll go out either tomorrow or Saturday.
Okay, so the pricing sheet will go out tomorrow, but you can look at it here tonight, okay? And then read through the contract with your family and your cheerleader. Make sure that this is something you guys can do and that you're taking a big step. So make sure it's something that your family is comfortable with. Sign up for tryouts under the class portal on the website, and that is here. If you have any issues, it should only cost $45 one time. If your child is in 2 age groups, they will need to come to both age groups for the tryouts, but you'll only be charged once. So that way we can see them with each age group and kind of see where they fit. And then after the 2 weeks of clinics coming up starting Monday, then we have our actual tryout day on May 5th, and so you'll sign up with a 15-minute time slot, so you'll need to go online and do that as well. We'll talk about a little bit more on this in a second. And then following that, we want everybody to fill out the survey, which tells us what type of team you're interested in. So we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. And then athletes come to the clinics starting Monday through Thursday, the next 2 weeks, and they come by age group. And then they need to wear solid black shorts and a solid black tank top or t-shirt or sports bra, any type of top. And then hair up in a white bow. This can be like a ribbon or any type of bright white bow that you can get. And then cheer shoes are preferred, but we know that a lot of people, if you're new, you don't have them. So tennis shoes, so that we can see their stunting skill. And just no flip-flops, but something that they can work out in and be comfortable in. And then check the portal to make sure that all your information is correct. If you are returning or new and you opt out of emails, that we don't ever send like promotional stuff. We just tell you information such as like we send you the paperwork and competition information and if like we're closed for weather. So please don't opt out of the emails or you won't have any information. So please make sure you've opted in and make sure you have the correct info, especially your cheerleader's birthday. That is a huge part of knowing what team that they can make. And then we will be sending an email on May 6th to show announcements for the team. I'm hoping we can do a video reveal like we did last year. That was really cool. So it depends on like how quickly we can get that done, but that's my goal. But we will be announcing teams on May 6th. And then our first practice will be May 9th. It's a Thursday. All teams, no matter what team you made, will be practicing on Thursdays the month of May, and only Thursdays for cheer. We'll be working tumbling, conditioning, some stunting, and they will practice with their teams. But we're kind of giving everybody an easy start, especially for ones who literally just finished the season. We give a little bit of a break. We know May is crazy with the end of school, graduations, and tons of stuff going on. So we will start our actual team practices in June. So just Thursdays in May to give them a little bit of time off. And then the only way for them to practice on May 9th is to have all of this paperwork turned in. So there's a checklist here. You'll need the signature page of the contract notarized. We will have a notary at the gym, but we prefer it would take so much less time if you can get it done before. The social media policy, which we'll go over. Copy of your birth certificate. This is so that we can register for them for competitions and we can get them in the system, and that's required by all athletes. And then $150 in cash or check to start your season. So, and that goes towards your year. So we'll bring that in on May 9th, and that way the kids can get started with practices. And then also we will add you to our group chats and our communication page so everybody gets the information as we go. If you have any questions on any of that, please email us and let us know. Is there anybody who doesn't have this sheet yet? Okay, we'll start. If you see anybody new come in, just kind of like raise your hand and Chloe will get those papers passed out. So I'm gonna make sure I go in order, cover everything. I'm trying not to take up too much of your time tonight, but I wanna make sure everything is covered. First of all, if I haven't met you or if you have been a part of XCA, thank you so much again for trusting us with your kids, and for the ones of you who have been here many years, thank you so much for your support. We truly are a family. We really are a family-owned business, and this 15 seasons ago, I started this company not thinking it was going to be a company or business by any means. I just really liked kids. I wanted to work with kids with special needs and be a teacher, and volunteering some time, helping an all-star team get formed. I really fell in love with teaching a competitive sport over academics, and I realized how fun it was to get to stay with some of the same kids year after year and how impacting that can be. So when I was 19 years old, I decided this is what I want to do the rest of my life, and had no intention of it becoming what it did, but super proud of where it's come and how far it's come, and just the kids that we've made relationships with and have been a part of their lives, seeing them grow up. Like that is what is the most important thing to us, and we love it. So thank you so much. If you're new to us, it's a big step, but we're excited to have you, and we hope that this becomes your cheer family, and that you bond, and your parents meet other people and find connections and make friends, and that the kids, this becomes something that they are passionate about and make friends that will last for the rest of their lives. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully this is where you make your cheer home the next season. So starting with tryouts, our tryouts begin Monday, like I said, And I'm gonna go back on my page real quick so I don't forget anything. But the tryouts will be by age. And like I said, you'll have 2 time frames if your age is between 2 time frames. And this is just so, according to our team policies and what the USASF, which is our governing body, it allows for teams, we will be able to see your kids in 2 different age groups. If they're only in one age group, it means they can only make one age group. That is their age. You will go by the age of August 31st. Even, I know that we talked about some international teams being December, but we're still going to go by August 31st for tryouts for everyone. And we will look at those ages. But August 31st is their competitive age. For the rest of the 9 on September 1st, they will be 8 all year. Okay? Does that make sense? Then, the trial clinics, so Monday will be dance and jumps. We'll be teaching them dance motions, jumps, and flexibility type drills to see how quickly they pick up on dance, their memorization, their sharpness and tightness, clean, and all those things, and how well they mesh with other kids in their age group as far as memorization goes. Now, we know there's kids that they'll watch it once and they'll pick it up and then they forget it the next time they're here. And there's other kids that they'll watch it that day and they struggle to get it that day, but then they go home and practice and then they'll have it a lot better. So we're gonna watch both and see how they do and how they pick up the next 2 weeks, and then what they bring to us on May 5th for the trial. And then Tuesdays will be tumbling class. So we will work with seeing where they're at as far as what they're close to and what they can throw on their own. For their actual tryout on May 5th, we'll be helping the kids get a combo pass. So something that is all levels that they show us that is a synchronized, or sorry, not a synchronized, a combination pass with all skill levels in one thing. So we will work with the kids, don't worry about that. We'll explain what they need to show us and kind of go from there. And then on Thursdays, we'll be stunting. Stunting is where, if you're new to cheer, it's where you like lift each other and you throw people around. Everybody will show us all types of skills in the practices. We'll let everybody try different things. Of course, they will be at their age group, so we'll do the best that we can, but we'll work flying drills, stretching, we'll work basing technique, all kinds of stuff to kind of see where they're at. And then that'll be for 2 weeks. Then on May 5th, we'll have a 15-minute time slot. You will sign up at any time that works for you. So it does not have to be with a group of 4. If Madison signs up at 1:30 and Grace signs up at 1:30 and Madison is 6 and Grace is 15, they can try out together, that's no problem. We are gonna have a stunt group here that is the same for all ages. So if they wanna show us flying skills, the stunt group will be able to stunt with any age group, any ability. If they want to show us basing skills, the older stunt group will be on their knees, and we'll have a younger flyer that they can base. If they want a back spot, same deal. So we will be able to see their stunting technique and what they can show us in that 15-minute time frame. Then, like I said, they'll show us a tumbling pass, a standing and a running, and then they'll show us their dance and jumps. So the dance and jumps will have a combination where they do a jump in their dance, but it'll take only 15 minutes. We'll watch the 4, and after that we'll write some notes, and we'll have a panel of judges. Some of them will be our coaches, some of them will be some new people that have never seen the kids before, just to give us an unbiased opinion, but have worked with All-Star Industry before, so they kind of will help us get a good idea of what they're able to do. And then after that, the announcement will be on May 6th, which is a Monday. And then as far as the clinics go on the next 2 weeks, those are open to parents, just because I know some of you guys don't know us and you may not be comfortable to leave your kids with us for the first time, but we allow you to come in and watch. If you are cool and you don't need to, it will definitely help with space if you don't need to watch. If you feel like your kids do better without you, I know my child is 10 months old and he already does better without me. So if you feel like your kids do better without you and they'll focus a little more, Feel free, let us know. It's totally okay to drop them off. We will be fine with that. But if you need to stay, you're welcome to do so as well. If you do stay and you do sit upstairs, we're going to ask that you sit upstairs and that you are quiet and that you are not coaching or yelling at your child from upstairs. Now, I know everyone's like, that's crazy, but it happens. And it definitely will hinder your kids and confuse them and will not help them to be confident. So we will watch them, we will help them through everything, so just kind of sit back and watch, but make sure you feel comfortable with the gym and that you're making the right decision. For the 15-minute time slots, those will be closed. So if you could come in, you can drop off your kid, and then wait just right outside. It's only going to be for 15 minutes. We will bring them out when they're done. We'll have a coach that takes them out to the cars, but it'll be quiet in here, and it will probably be super stressful for them if parents are watching. So those will be closed, and then we'll bring them out, okay? And we don't do that to make it stressful. I know this is new. We changed the way we do tryouts every year, but so it's just for us to see kind of what they retain. Last year we had 107 kids try out, and I was getting ready to have the baby, and we only had clinics, and we got back to the end of stuff, and I took pictures of everyone, and I was going, okay, I remember this, and I remember they could do this, but I don't remember how old, and I mean, it took forever to go back, so I just feel like groups of 4 will help me remember the kids a lot better after seeing them for 2 weeks when they're clinics. So, any questions about that process? I know no one's gonna ask questions, so it's okay. So we'll just keep going. Tryouts are $45 for the 2 weeks of clinics plus the May 15th. And then we're past this other thing that's on here. Questions like, these are questions that are commonly asked. Do you try out for a specific level or team? No. So every year our teams change in what we offer. Last year we had, for example, we had a tiny level 1 novice team and a tiny level 1 prep. This year we may have one tiny prep or maybe a tiny prep and an elite. So every single year it changes depending on who we get for tryouts. So they don't try out for a specific level. What they bring and what we see lets us know how many kids we have and how we can form what teams. And then the types of teams that we offer, this is a huge, important part of this understanding. So every year this kind of changes. Last year, prep became competitive, more of a competitive sport. Prior years before, prep was considered more of a introduction type of team. But last year it was just as competitive, if not more, than elite teams. So the only difference between prep and elite last year was that they could not get bids to the D2 Summit, which is we weren't going for this past year, and they did not travel at all. So I want to make sure that you guys understand the difference, because I know it's a huge question, and even I have a hard time explaining it because it can be different for every gym. So novice teams are beginning new cheerleading teams that are not just a class, but they are a team, but they are local competitions only, and they are less hours in the gym, and most likely they are all level 1. So they can go up to level 3, but as of right now, our gym will provide up to level 1 for novice, okay? So it's a great way to become a part of the team and for your kids to have relationships and for you to get to meet people, but without the commitment level of 2 nights a week or, or more traveling. And then there's prep, and this is the biggest question. If my kid's on a prep team, they won't work as hard as an elite team, or they may not be the same skill level as an elite team. Prep can be any skill level, any tumbling skill level, any stunting skill level. Whatever we choose for prep to be is what it can be. It can be exactly like an elite team. We have chosen that our elite teams will travel more than our prep teams, okay? They also, when you go to competitions, prep teams are offered a discount on the competition fees themselves at some, not always. So the price point of a prep team can be a little cheaper than an elite team. And reason being is that elite teams usually, if they go for bids, they will compete at 2-day competitions. Now that is totally up to us and what we choose as a competition schedule. So, but if we go to 2-day competitions, prep will only compete at 1-day events. So you won't do Saturday and Sunday. This year, the competition route that we're going, we are going to allow prep to travel if the majority of our parents who fill out this survey say we would rather do prep because of the price point, but we're okay to travel a little bit and to do an end of the year event if we qualify for it. So the end of the year event that we're choosing to qualify for is called the Open Championships. It's in Orlando at Universal. I'll talk about this here in a minute, but just understand that if the majority of our parents, which it is looking like, want to do that competition, we will try and get bids for that. So prep cannot get bids to D2 Summit, but they can get bids to other end of the year events. So really it's the same thing. It's just, there's just a little bit of a difference, okay? Then there's elite. Now, elite teams will practice a little bit longer than prep teams, okay? It's just a price point difference. So they may practice a couple more hours a night. They will travel more. It's a guarantee that they will travel, and their goal will be to get bids to this Open Championship. That will be the focus and how their practices are run and all of that. Like I said, levels can be the same. Mindset should be the same. But understand if you are on an elite team, your intent is to earn bids. And so it's kind of a whatever it takes mindset. We're pushing and we're trying to get bids, okay? So when you're filling out the survey, you have the choice to choose on those. And you'll see the price sheets tonight. You can look at that. You can see the difference. Again, it's always estimated, and we'll go over that in a second. But that is the biggest question. So I've had people be like, well, if they're level 1, then they have to be prep, and if they're level 2, we need them to be elite because of the skills they can do. Well, that's not true. So last year we had a youth level 1 that was elite. We had a prep 2.1. So their skill level was allowed to do more than the youth, and their age group was the same. So that's kind of the difference. Christina.
If you choose prep team, will you know before you sign the contract if we're going to travel
Yes.
to Florida?
Yep. Yes. So I've already sent out the survey, and I've had pretty much everybody who's returned respond. So I'm waiting. I'm going to wait through the next 2 weeks to do to find out where everybody fits. But what we do is when we look at your team placement, we look at that and we try to form teams according to those decisions. Now, obviously, that's a 3-way split. So we're looking at age group, we're looking at skill level, and we're looking at the parents, what they want as far as travel and what type of team. So it is very difficult to make sure that we have enough kids in certain age groups that are the same skill level and that want the same thing. So last year we had 14 teams, and this year I would like to have like 7 max. So I'm looking at having larger teams, but still having larger teams but less teams, if that makes sense. So it is going to be difficult to make sure that everybody's on the same page, but we have the pricing points you'll see, so you can really make a decision and see where it's at and what you guys can do. And then if for some reason you're like the only one and you're like, no, like everybody in my age group and skill level wants elite, but I only want prep, we're going to try and figure that out and put everybody in the same place. But we will come to you and I will talk to you about that before we make a decision, okay? So good question. Any other questions about that?
Just curious, like, what did the bids do?
Like, how do the bids work?
Yeah, like if prep can go and they don't need bids, but elite's chasing bids, like what?
Okay, so same thing. They would still have to chase bids.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're just allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So that's the next thing.
Gotcha.
Well, it would be. because it's just that they wouldn't like. Okay, so let me explain this. Okay, so the Open Championship. So it's a very new. This is the first year they're doing it, and so we haven't seen it yet this season. It's in May. Next year will be the second season, but it's a big organization that a lot of the companies that we attend already. So Rockstar Championships, the Champions League, Sedalia has opted into it. What else am I thinking of? Celebrity events, which we already do. A lot of the ones we were choosing to do have opted into this bid system. So when you go to each competition, what you place earns you money off per person towards your bid, okay? If you can win a full paid bid where your team goes, and so that's where, if you earn it, you get to go. Or if you earn a first place bid, each person would get $15 off their registration per team, per person, okay? Every time you compete, you get another 15 off every time. Now, because this is new, and there's something on my phone here. Because this is new, they haven't sent out a ton of information yet. I know that they're adding more events who are opting into this. They have more ways that you can get bids to it, but pretty much if you earn first, second, or third, you have a bid to go. It just is a price point of how much you earn towards it. Now, I am a firm believer in you work hard for what you earn. So, we had a coaches meeting last night. We had a lot of brainstorming ideas on how we can get our kids to earn it more so than just the money. Because the kids could care less if they get $15 off of their registration. So, they could care less. You guys will be excited because every time you compete, you're like, if you get first place, then you get, Yeah. But our goal is, but here's the thing. So some teams, they may have a competition, they don't go against anyone, and they automatically get first. There may be a team where, let's say a Junior 2. Junior 2 at Wildcard at Summit has 142 teams, okay, who made it to Summit. That's only Wildcard. They have another 140 in that. So that's a super tough division. If we take a Junior 2 team to any competition, there's no chance they're going to be the only ones in their division, and it may be really unlikely. They may score higher than a team that doesn't have anyone against them, but they may be third out of 12, or third out of 25. And so it's difficult to make this a standard rule. So we're talking about how the kids can earn their way there, and it's still kind of undecided. So we're talking about possibly having them, when they earn their placements, also earning points towards it. So every time they hit a certain placement, they get points. Another idea is if they have perfect attendance at a practice, they can earn a certain amount of points. And then we maybe come up with a point system that says, this is how you earn your way to go, more so than just the amount of getting the money off in the bid. So obviously, if we get a full paid bid, we're going. That means we place the highest out of the whole day. They're paying for our registration. We're going. First, second, and third. I would like the kids to earn it a little bit more than just placing, especially if it's different for every team. So we're still in discussion about how that's going to work, and we will know really soon. We talked about it last night, but also ways that they could earn points. We talked about if they show up to competition without their hair done and makeup done, it's a minus points. Or if they hit 0 at practice, they earn 20 points. And so each time they earn it, they get more points. And when that team specifically hits a certain amount of points at competition or at practice, they get their bid to go for sure, plus the amount of money that you guys get off. So that's still in the works, but we're trying to make sure that the kids do understand the importance of earning that competition. And then let me get back to...
Brief. I have a quick question about what you said about the 7 versus 14. Is the gym gonna stay D2?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, well, yes, as long as we don't have over 125 competitive athletes. So prep and elite count towards your numbers, and novice does not count, classes do not count. So if we go over 125, then we would be D1. But so we definitely, when we compete, we want to compete D1, but it won't matter because Summit is really the one that splits it. A lot of the competitions, it doesn't matter, they won't split it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So it kind of depends on how many teams are in your division at each competition. So I don't foresee us like hitting over 125. If we did, wonderful, but I don't really see that happening this year. But if that were a case, we would kind of go over that too. Let's go real quick back to tryouts, and then we'll get back to competition schedule. But what we are looking for in our tryouts, remember that tumbling is not the most important thing. I know that's the individual skill that your kids know they can do, and that's what they are the most passionate about and what they think makes their skill level. But as far as your scoring goes on the score sheet, the teams that have the percentages of the scoring, which all came out new today, haven't even looked at it yet because it just changed today. Always changes right before we have tryouts or after. But the new grids, stunting and pyramids are the biggest part of your score sheet. Tumbling is your second, but running and tumbling are split, running and standing are split, and then jumps and dance and performance are the exact same amount of points as your tumbling. So when we look at tryouts, we look at the number of kids that we have in that age group and skill level, and how many athletes we need on the floor that can do a synchronized tumbling pass in that level. So if they have a skill, but it's not synchronized with the other kids in their age group, then we may not even need them to do it. So there's a likely chance, and it's always more considerable for us to put kids that stunting is one of the first things we look at, to place stunt groups and make sure those are strong. Secondly, we look at motions and tightness and choreography. If they can't count on beat, it will mess up our entire performance. That means they probably can't stunt on beat, and they probably can't tumble with everybody else. Even if they have the highest tumbling pass, if it's not timed, it makes a difference, okay? Synchronized, our individual tumbling skills don't even count on the score sheet this year. So only synchronized passes. So they have to match with other people. So have them do their best job, but please help them understand it's not the ultimate goal is not hitting tumbling. Now, of course, we want to pursue having them all have the same skill or higher skills because it benefits us for the more they progress, okay? So we will definitely work on all of that. If your child makes a team lower than the skill that they have in tumbling, please know that does not mean that they won't work on higher skills. Always. We do not want kids to stay the same. It would be stupid of us, right? We want them progressing. We want them challenged. We want them having fun. We are going to continue every practice. If they've mastered something, we're going to work on the next skill. So only time you'll ever hear that a kid was told you can't work on that skill is because they have not mastered the skill in front of it. Before the season starts, everybody will be sent home with a chart of what skills tumbling has in what levels and what the progression charts are. So it's really important that you guys know those and the kids know those. This past year we have charts that we filled out, and so if you are interested in seeing what your kids have, some of those have been filled out, some of them haven't, but we will be filling them out through tryouts, okay? And then we already talked about what type of team. So here's the order of things that we look at in importance of making a team. Attitude and coachability is number one. If you are the best athlete in the world, but you are not coachable and you think you are the best thing that ever walked in here, you probably will not make a team because we can't coach you. So we want to see you progress, and we want to see that you are able to be coached, okay? If you tell me I can only fly, that's all I do. That's all I ever want to do, but you are 15 and you're 10 feet tall and your bases are 14 and they are 2 feet tall, it's probably not likely for you to make a team because we wouldn't need you in that spot, okay? But if you're, say, I can back spot, I can base, I'm willing to do anything, you're going to make the best team for you. Commitment to the team the prior year. So if you're new, you have an advantage. I don't know you yet, but if you were here the years before, we look at your commitment level. If you were sick all the time, you may not be ready to move on. If you were constantly late, or you had a kid that called in and they were committed to another sport and they never showed up at practice or anything like that. We have ways we take care of that, but we do look at commitment level and what teams that you make, and we try to match the kids and the parents' passion of what they want in a team to the same other parents, okay? And the other kids. The next part is tightness and being clean. This is the order of what we're gonna look at. So sharpness goes a long way. If you are great and a tight dancer and clean and can perform, you could be put on a team that's a higher level, whether you have a tumbling or stunting skill or not. If you're clean, I can put you right in the middle of my dance and you can get us our performance points, okay? Stunting is a huge factor. Like we said, we have to have 4 strong bases to every flyer. So obviously it's not ideal for everyone to be a flyer. But in every year, the flying positions can change depending on your age. So if you don't do it this year, you may do it the following. And if you have done it your whole life, it may not be your year to do that. But always work towards that. We will continue, in the summer we always offer flying classes. If it works out for our schedule, some teams will have a consistent flying class every practice, but we will continue to offer those if they're interested for the following years, okay? Tumbling, we talked about combo passes. The biggest thing ever, which every single year I'm like petitioning to make a level that children can throw a single back handspring. So, a single back handspring is not a level 2 skill. So, I know that that's like the biggest thing. Everyone wants, my kid has a back handspring, so they should move to level 2. It doesn't earn any points on the score sheet. When you go from level 1 to level 2, you have to have multiple handsprings. You have to have, like I said, consistent front walkover, back walkover, round off handspring series, step outs, back extension rolls, all these things. So if you have a single handspring and that's it, it is very unlikely that you're moved to a level 2 team, okay? Not saying you can't get there. Some kids may have just got it, but the form and the power in it is correct, and they're gonna quickly get multiples, or they have all the level 1 skills and they've completed the level 1 skills multiple times, multiple years. They may be ready. This is talking just tumbling. Remember, this is like our 5th thing down. But I have petitioned now for like 3 years. We have a level prep 2.1 where it's level 2 stunting, level 1 tumbling. I really wish that we had an opposite reverse effect, because level 2 stunting is super, super difficult. And every year it gets harder and harder. And every year it's level 3 stuff is now legal in level 2. Level 2 stuff is now legal in level 1, and they keep making it harder. So it's very difficult if you're a mini and you're 8 years old, 6 to 8 years old, and you are throwing level 2 stunts. It is hard, but almost all of our minis are learning back handsprings. So I really, really wish they had a level 1.2 for a mini team, and I think it'd be a huge division, but they have not listened to my ideas yet. They are not doing it, so we aren't there, but hopefully the next couple years they might listen. But I really do, so just remember that it all kind of depends on the look of it and where they're at on that type of thing. And then next, jumps, your height, your flexibility, that's a big part of our score sheet. And then dance, being able to keep up with our quick changes to routines, staying tight, having the overall look of performance, and smiling. So tell them, be confident when they come out. We want to see them look like they know what they're doing. And a huge part too, every time we go to competition, we get a score sheet, and the judges say, you should try this, and you should do this, and this needs work, and this would be better. It is very likely that every time we come back, we make little changes to the routine, whether they be cleaning up or maybe adding a motion or adding to our stunting or changing a tumbling pass. So when we look at dance, we're seeing how quickly they can make changes, okay? We don't try to change things every practice, because that would be silly, but it's fun for them to do new things and to continue progressing all season after they've mastered the skills. Okay? And then Monday, May 6th is when the teams will be announced. We talked about what to wear: black shorts, solid top, white hair bow, tennis shoes. When will we know pricing? We're going to talk about that now. Okay? So that's how tryouts work. Any questions on how tryouts work? Or thoughts about that? Okay, cool. So the next thing. Sorry.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yes.
It's not about tryouts, but the Orlando, do you have dates for that?
Yep. Okay, so that's actually what we're going to go over next. So tryouts and then paperwork list, we already talked about that. Okay, so pricing and competition info. So the types of competitions you're going to go to depends on what type of team you make, okay? I am going to go ahead and pass these out. This has the list of all dates that you need for the whole season. Now, please read here. As of April 18th, which is today, please check for an updated schedule in July, because a lot of these events have not put in writing what their dates are for sure. I do know for sure the camp dates that are on here are set in stone, so please look at those. The camp dates are for, it'll show which teams do camps, but there's a stunt camp and there's a choreography camp, mandatory for anybody who qualifies for those type of teams. Even though they won't be every single day, all day, please make yourself available every single day, all day. And we will not have a schedule until probably the week before, because the choreographers that we hire in, they make the schedule, depending on the age group of the teams and how much they think they need to work with them, okay? So I'm gonna pass these out. Feel free to look at them. They have all the dates that we know of right now. I'm gonna do like the same thing I did a second ago, so you can help me. So you take some over to the other side. And then take some, pass it down, start in the middle, and pass it back. I guess I need one. Yeah, one more first. Okay. So, we'll start with, so June, the practice schedule will start. I will have, before June hits, like within the next 2 weeks after I know teams, when the teams are revealed, I will have a tentative schedule for you of what your whole entire year's practice schedule will be, okay? And then stunt camp, and then we have a break week from July 4th through 10th. That is no cheer, no tumbling, dead week for cheerleaders, take a break. And then routine camp, and then I would like parent planned parties, which is just for fun, team bonding. We have another break week, which is tentatively usually the week the kids start school, even though I know everybody starts school at different times. But that's kind of that's kind of the idea right now, because I don't know when they start back up. We have at least 3 parades that we go to. All teams are involved in those. They are mandatory, but then at the same time, if you already have something planned, you can let us know that you cannot be there, and we will excuse that, but we have to know in advance. It's not something you can just not show up, okay? But the parades are fun, and the kids love them, and we do the same routine every year for that. September Fest is a fundraiser. And then Pumpkin Patch, we'll go do Pumpkin Patch team bonding. We have a parade, Halloween Parade and Independence. The showcase. Showcase will be our, parents are welcome, friends and family are welcome. We will be here at the gym. The kids will perform the routines. They're getting ready to compete, okay? That'll be a lot of fun. We didn't get to do one this year. We will do this one this upcoming year. And then we have our competition list schedule. The American Cheer Power is in Kansas City. Then we have Christmas or Thanksgiving break. The MSC competition is novice teams only, which is in St. Joe. It says Kansas City, but it is in St. Joe. I don't know why. When I looked at this was correct, so I'm not sure what happened. That's in St. Joe. Celebrity competition, which will be one of our bid events, will be in Branson in December. And then our Christmas party is already planned December 19th for all teams, and Santa will be there. We already talked to him. So that's really cool. Then we have break weeks for Christmas. January 11th will be the State Fair competition. So we're not doing XCA in St. Charles this year because the past 3 years it has snowed on January 11th. So Sedalia, now that they've opted into these events, I know we've gone to Sedalia for years, but because of this, please understand there's probably going to be a lot more teams that are trying to get these bids. So that'll be a good come off of Christmas break, hit that one hard, try and get some money towards our event, and it'll be great. Live is a super fun competition. You compete, they get your standings right there in front of everyone, and then you don't stay for award ceremony. It's really cool. It's like a live scoring event, and that's in Kansas City. It's a pretty big event. Champions League is in Kansas City again this year. They were there last year. It's the first time for that. They do a prom the night before for youth, junior, and senior teams and up. I don't know if they'll do many this year if we do go, but it's really fun. It's a prom. Kids just play, and they have like some snacks and stuff. They dress up and they do like a live entertainment type of stuff. Jam Fest Nationals will be second week of February. It's huge. We tried to add that to our schedule last year after we took NCA off, and it was full. So we'll have to register for that one really early, but it's a huge event in Kansas City. NCA in Dallas, if you were here at the banquet, I told you this competition scares me. It is the #1 largest cheerleading competition in the world. It is larger than Worlds, it's larger than Summit. It is huge nationals, thousands and thousands of cheerleaders. We only intent of going to this is because one or two of our teams may not have a ton of competition locally. So we don't know that yet. We don't know what other teams are going to offer. But the idea would be to go to that so that they don't get to the end of the season and have not competed against a ton of teams. So we're looking at that. If we do go to that, we'll have to register for that like by June. So it's a huge event. It is a stay to play, which I do not like, but we have to do that if we go. So they book us hotels. They have to, they place us in hotels, and we don't get any say in that. So, but it's an experience, and we haven't been there. Jordan and Haley have been there for the past like 3 or 4 years, and so they have a little bit more familiarness to it. But we'll talk about that here soon. And then one more Sedalia, so we have 2 that we'll go to. March 21st. Then WSA is in Overland Park Convention Center, and it's a pretty large competition. And then Mardi Gras in St. Louis will be in March. Is it April? No, April 4th. So we're gonna hope there's no snow by then. That's the goal, so that we still can go to St. Louis with no snow. And then U.S. Finals. U.S. Finals is actually also a bid event, so you have to place in the top 3 at a varsity competition to get to U.S. Finals, which isn't super difficult, but usually only teams that either get a paid bid or place in the top 3 will go to this competition. It's in Kansas City this year, so our intent will be to go, but just know that that's also a very big national event. And then following that one, so we're kind of leading up to with our difficulty, will be the Open in Orlando, okay? And then that puts us through May, and then May 17th will be our end of the year banquet. So if you were here last year or the year before, last season was super long. This year was like super short, and it just felt like there wasn't quite enough. This kind of puts us in the middle. So our last event being the first week of May doesn't put us all the way through the end of May. But because of that, it does spread out your payments a little bit more. So we were able to, that helps you in the long run, okay? And then it explains a little bit on here about like how stunt camp is not for every team and not for every hour that we have it. Team building events, we are all about those, and we'll get to that. And then exceptional, so if you have a special needs or cheer abilities team, we do have a special needs team, and hip hop teams would have their own schedules. This is not the same in there, okay? Questions about schedules? Yes.
I guess it's kind of about schedule. You talked about the elite and the prep teams, but can you tell us a little bit
What comp is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so comp, we put comp and prep because it's the same thing. We used to call prep, or we made our own. Before they had comp and elite and prep, all that, we decided we were gonna do that before they even started that. And we had national teams and comp teams. So prep would be comp teams because they compete and do the same thing, and elite teams are elite teams because national. So it's just different. It also, like when you actually compete, you register for those differently because of price. Oh, international is it's a whole new thing, and we're looking at this because it's a different age range for one of our teams, and it has a different birthday list and all kinds of stuff. So we're looking at having an international junior 4. So that the reason being is because of age range and skill level of stuff that they can do. So we kind of looked at who's coming back and what that intended, and so it looks like that would be a good fit for us. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Does it not say? I think it went to the bottom of that, didn't it? No, international. Oh, you know what? Maybe we're not because of Dallas, but that might be a typo. So let me check because it's included. It would be in your pricing, so I'll find out because that's the same. So I don't know if maybe I said that because of how close it is, but let me find out. Okay, and so then pricing, we'll have these up here. There's going to be 2 different sheets for an idea. Okay, let me please help you understand that this is tentative. They have not even released the amount of how much competition fees are for any type of grant. So we've guessed, if we did it before, we added like $5 with hoping that they don't go up above that. What we start here, like we will make changes to this. So if something is cheaper, which I can almost guarantee you this is not going to be any more expensive than what we estimated. But if things are cheaper, we will not charge you for that. Like you will get discounts and prices will go down, okay? So these are literally estimates, but it's just estimate of what we've realized in the past couple years, okay? So we'll have the nationals and elite team will have one price, and then the prep or comp teams will have another price, and then the elite or the novice teams will have a separate price. And then it shows on here what that would be if you do end up traveling. So if you're a prep and you end up traveling, what your fees would be according to that, okay? So I'll have a couple of these. We're like pass them around. I don't know. Should we just There's like 15 copies. So at the end, I'll kind of pass them around, but we will email you all of this tomorrow too, so you can really look over it. But the way that we do fees, in case you are new to us, we add everything up for the whole season, which includes your uniforms, your competitions, your team building, your gifts, your camps, music, choreography, your monthly stuff for like gym usage, all of that, coaches fees, coaches per diems, everything that you can think of that is involved in your season is added into one price and then split by month. So you know what's coming out and how much you owe per month. Now, my mom does all the fees. I do not do any of it. I stay out of it. If you come up to me and you're like, I'm so sorry, I owe money, I'm gonna be like, I didn't know that. So, okay, sorry, thanks. But my mom knows, and so she works with that. That way my focus can be on coaching the kids, working with the teams, and communicating with parents. She will keep you with statements and up to date. There may be some new changes to try and make things easier this year, but I will tell you the price is not much different from what we did last season. So if you were on an elite team last year, it's about the same, even with a new uniform and with more competitions. If you're on a prep, it's about the same, unless you decide we're gonna travel a little bit, then it might be a little bit more. So those fees are all included in the same amount. So we really strive, I promise you guys, cheerleading is just an expensive sport. I personally, for our gym and our monthly cost, we have never upped our price. In fact, 15 years now, and we've lowered it one time for this year, or by like $15, so per month. We have never upped our price. The fact that it goes up every year is not because of what we do. It is just because the sport just is expensive. So we try so hard to keep it down as much as we can, but we also want the kids to have the best experience possible. We know that they want uniforms that look good. We know they want to go to competitions that they do well at and that they, have cool experiences at. We know they want the best shoes on the market, but we allow you to choose what shoes you want. So we have estimated really high for everything. And if it's lower, you're welcome. We will always take it down for you, and you'll get credits, and you will be able to do all kinds of stuff to help those fees down. We do fundraisers. We'll offer fundraisers, but we don't make them mandatory. So if you want to start a fundraiser today, we have 2 going on. You can start them. We're doing Royals tickets, and we're doing Egg Your Yard. So if you're interested, let me know. We'll get you added to the Facebook page for the fundraising pages. So those can go towards your fees, and we try to offer a lot. Some people are like, I'm not interested. I don't want to do fundraisers. You're always welcome to get sponsorships. So if you have like grandparents or something, they just want to give you a chunk, you can always just put down some, and that can go towards your fees. Things like that. Every time you fundraise, that goes towards your fees. But anything like that, sponsorships or ways to help your payments are great. Okay. And then, is there anything what should we say about fees? Is there anything I'm missing that you do that I don't know before I go through a few other things?
The only thing that, it is an extra month this year, so we're actually doing, instead of May to March, we'll go all the way through April. So you'll see it'll be a little bit higher, but that's because we've got an extra month, brand new uniforms, that kind of thing. And those are
Just barely,
estimated.
right? Just barely. But we do
Yeah, but
charge
we don't-
in May.
What?
We don't charge in May. It
We
just
do
goes through April.
your registration fee that you pay every year, and a little bit towards getting the practice wear ordered. So there will
This
be
May.
150, but it'll be in that paperwork
Yeah.
that'll be due.
Yeah. So this May it's 150 when you start. That goes towards the start of your year. Okay. So then, of course, I know you guys are all gonna have questions on pricing, and you'll have to look over them and figure out what type of survey you want to fill out and where you're looking, and then that will help us create teams. But we really need that all filled out before we start this next our first clinic. Okay. And then this is our contract, and I am not going to read it to you word for word because it is 11 pages. So please look over this. And I know I tell people every year, I'm not going to read it word for word, but you need to. Okay. Every year I get people that are like, I didn't know that. I didn't know if I quit I was going to be charged a fee. It's in the contract. Okay. You have to make a decision before you sign up, before you fill this out, before you get it notarized. Please read it and please understand it. If you don't understand it, let me know, and I will be more than happy to help you understand anything. I will tell you, it may sound a little harsh, okay? We're not harsh people. We're very kind people, I hope. Or I hope that we are viewed that way. But we've had, this is now 15 years. Every year, the contract changes, and we add things because things happen. And people get their belly button pierced 2 days before competition, and then they cry when they have to take it out. So I'm like, it goes in the contract. Okay? But every year something new changes, and we have to add to it. But first, read our coaching philosophy. We aren't here to yell and scream at your kids. We are here to build them up and to coach them. If we have to be harsh, we will to get a result, but we believe in being, to earn their respect, we respect them. And so we will work them hard and we will push them, but we will do it in a kind way. And if things need to change, there will be practices that they will condition or run as a team, and they will be pushed. So please be aware of that. We also try to make that appropriate for age groups. So just know that our heart is to help them succeed. That our coaching philosophy is in here. It will explain all of that. The teams that we'll offer are in here, and also breaks down the USASF rules for here. We don't have all the USASF rules, but all of our coaches, every year I'm recertified, and I'll get recertified this year. Our coaches, we will meet together, we read the rules, they change every season, but our goal is to make the best teams possible with the rules that they give us, okay? You do not have to know the rules at all, and it's probably best that you don't, because it will confuse you. And every year it changes. So if you learn them this year and it changes next year, which is what happens to us, you get confused on what happens the following year. It's like a book, huge cheer Bible that tells you what is able to be done in every routine, okay? And then Age brackets are on here. That changes every year too. Hopefully it doesn't change after tryouts, because that happened last year. But hopefully it stays the same, and I'm pretty sure it is because they had a seminar and all that stuff. We're almost finished. Practices are required to be here. Like I said, we'll have incentives for not 100% attendance, but please understand the absence policy before you sign up. You get 4 allowed practices in the summer, 4 in the winter. They have to be excused. Excuse means you're contagious or sick with a doctor's note, so you have something that you can give to someone else, then we do not want you here. We do need to have a doctor's note for it to be excused, but you do get 2 without a doctor's note if it happens like before practice, but those do count towards your 4. So please read this and understand that. Mandatory school function for a grade is an excused absence if it's for a grade. We need to know those before September 15th. If the school changes their policies, they have a canceled practice or canceled event or something like that, you need to let us know as soon as possible. If you text me the day of and say, hey, I forgot they have choir concert today and I totally forgot to tell you, it won't be excused, okay? Because we can if there's a bunch of kids in the same school district, we can work out practice, especially if it's during competition season, okay? We did really good with this last year, so hopefully we do good this year.
Did you say contracts are signed? Sorry, I'm trying to text people that aren't here. Contracts are signed before tryouts.
No, after.
Oh, I thought you
May
said before.
9th is when we collect them, after you know
Before the
placement.
first practice. Okay.
She'd like the survey done prior to.
Survey done
Prior
prior
to.
to. Thank you.
First,
Yes.
Thank you.
That tells us what type of team you're willing to be on. Okay, and then family vacations or camps, if you have something that maybe you're gone all week and it covers 4 practices, let us know. They will be excused if we know those ahead of time. We need to know them by June 1st. So let us know, and it has to be in writing. I've sent that around. Hopefully you've written some, and if you have anything else, you can email us and let us know those too, okay? Family emergency, something beyond your control. We know stuff happens. There's gonna be stuff that you're excused, okay? Not feeling well is not an excuse practice. If they're not feeling well, but not running a fever, they just kind of have a cold, the weather's changing, we still need them to be here and watch practice. They can wear a mask if you think they might be contagious. We can keep them away, but we make changes, especially in comp season. And if they're able to be here and watch, then they can probably compete the next competition, okay? Too much homework. Now this is a big one for my high school kids. Education is very important, and we need you to stay up with your grades, yes. So you have to learn time commitment. They have to learn time management, get their homework done on nights that they don't have practice, or if they get it that day, they may have to go straight home and do homework. And if they have to be dropped early, maybe they're a crossover. They might have time to work on it before they get here. But they need to make sure they're working on time management. Too much homework will not be an excuse for not being at practice, okay? Jobs, birthday parties, concerts, family dinners, sporting events that are not mandatory for your school. Traffic, weddings, hanging out with friends, those are all unexcused absences. So make sure to read this and understand this, okay? If you come to me like, I didn't know that, I'm gonna be like, well, it was in your contract and you signed it. So first, unexcused practice. That means it was one of those other things, and it's completely unexcused. It's a $50 fee, okay? And they won't be able to practice until that fee is paid. So they have to, if it's unexcused. Now, it's a pretty hard thing to do to get an unexcused practice, okay? Second one would be $100 and probation. And then third would be that they're off the team, okay? Any absences within 2 weeks of a competition is a $50 charge. So please look at the competitions. If you have a school event that is that week, I need to know ASAP so we can change our practice, okay? Our goal is to change practice so everyone can be there so no one gets in trouble. Got it? Okay. Real quick, gym policies. Everybody, all teams except for our tinies are closed practices through the week except for one time per month, okay? So one time per month we'll have open practices. We don't always remind you, 'cause sometimes I forget, but if you remember and you're here, you watch practice. Again, just watch practice, do not coach practice, okay? You are their parent, you need to be their parent and not their coach. We got it, and the kids, I will tell you, every parent watch night, kids are crazy. I tell them every week, you have to act like humans today. Your parents are here, and they don't. They don't act like humans. They act like fools all the time. But we know that going into parent watch night. But it's not closed because we don't like you. I like you a lot. In fact, I like you, and I want you sometimes to be here. Sometimes I'm like, please watch your kid. Like, they're doing great. And sometimes like, they're acting crazy. Come watch them. But the kids honestly just do better when their parents are not watching. We get so much more out of them. They focus better. It's quieter. So parent watch night is only once a month. We want to encourage you guys to do stuff outside of the gym and to make friends with your teams. We'll have nights that we can like make signs here together, maybe before a competition, or everybody can go to dinner and things like that. But we really are going to encourage parent bonding as well a lot this year. Really want you guys to all feel included if you want to be, okay? Please do not let them on the floor. They need to wear their shoes. They need to bring their shoes with them and then put them on when they get here. No one allowed out on this black carpeted floor past the yellow line unless they are a part of a team and they have signed a waiver, okay? Very important for our insurance. And then food and drinks. So if they have water bottles are fine. They can have those down here in the cubbies. We're getting ready to revamp the whole gym. So that's starting like in a week or two. But right now, as time being, they can have water bottles down here. If they need to bring dinner or snack straight after school, they can have that upstairs. Anything that they want to have upstairs is fine. But if it's down here, it always gets left here, and we will have bugs and mice, and it'll be gross. So please don't let them eat down here. We try to make sure that they don't do that either. And then same for parents if you're out on the floor, whatever, no drinks except for water. And then competition performances, obviously you have to be there. We can't perform without you. So that's all in here as well. Look at the list of competitions, make sure that you can attend all of them. If for some reason there's one that you're like, I already know I cannot, we can do the whole season, we can do the year, but we cannot be at this competition, it is likely you can still cheer, but we will have to know from day one that we have an alternate in your place, okay? If your child gets injured or has a regression in skill, there is a likely chance that they have to be moved or a replacement would be put on their team. Not because we don't like them, but because we need the team to succeed. So read over this, and then let's see. Obviously, attitudes and behaviors, it's a huge part of it. Parents as well, please have a good attitude. Please be supportive of your kids, be supportive of the gym. Negativity, drama, things like that can cause you to not be a part of XCA. I say this every year. I've had many people say, it's crazy, you guys you have no drama here. And then I've had other people that are like, there was so much drama this year, and this, and I'm like, it's because you were the drama. Like, that's your fault. So, if you want drama, then you can be a part of that. If you don't be a part of it. So, we don't usually have it here. And I try my best to take care of it if I hear situations. But I'm not any of your moms, so I don't need to babysit any parents either. So we have a very, very good group of people. Every year we have a good group of people, better than any other program I've ever heard of. So I'm always very proud of XCA and the unity that we do have in our gym. I think most of our families become a family. They adopt each other's kids and take them on vacations together, and it is a lot of fun. So just strive to not worry if you hear about drama. Just try not to be part of it and stay out of it. And we don't play into crazy. We're really relaxed and laid back, and we like to have fun, and we like to get things done. Okay? So that's our goals here. But just kind of beware of all of these things. And then as far as, I'm looking around, I think it's like mostly young kids, but the kids are not allowed to use illegal substances, obviously. That's part of our contract. If we find out, we will contact you, and they will not be a part of our team. And then parental guidelines, so we're still on that. But make sure that you guys are being supportive and where was that? I feel like I'm skipping part of this, but communication for us, we will go through email this year. Please do not things that need to be please don't send things that need to be discussed in length, like a concern or anything other than an email. This year, I will not respond to any Facebook messages at all, personal, if they have to do with cheerleading. So, I have to start doing this for my sanity. I say it every year that I'm not going to do it, but I do, and it's just, I have to start putting some separation into my home life and the gym life, because I don't. Sorry, that was really good. We will have a new communication app. We'll always respond to emails. This explains when and like what hours we have, but we are going to use the band app only this year. So I will have more information on that and I explain that a little bit better, but it's a way to communicate without Facebook Messenger blowing up, and I'm able to add pictures or events, and people can chat still on there to get to know each other, but it's not so crazy and you don't miss as much information, okay? As far as communication about your bill or money, all needs to go to Robin. If you ask me, I'm going to tell you I do not know. I have no clue, okay? And then on here, there is about like communication. USASF has required all gyms to adopt a social media policy in how the coaches are allowed to communicate with kids and how parents or athletes communicate with coaches. They have asked us all to not friend any cheerleaders that are under the age of 18 years old. Now, here's the thing. So, if you do not want us to, we have this policy. If you do not want us to have your child involved in any social media, we will take them all out by the beginning of June. Now, I will tell you, we've never had an issue with anything, but the kids all really respond and bond a lot better. They have Snapchat groups, especially the older ones, and they will talk on there, and the coaches send out stuff like, don't forget, wear your bow, don't forget you have practice tonight, especially when they get older. A lot of the parents aren't as involved, and so it is important for us to be able to communicate for the kids. So I promise nothing has ever happened like that's negative with any of that. So it works better for us, and so we're going to allow you guys to opt in to being able to communicate with your kids or opt out. Now, if you opt out and your child is of a certain age, you need to be able to opt in yourself so that you get the communication. Now, like, for example, our senior team, Debbie ran a Snapchat group with them. They talk all day long, all night. We get selfies of their faces all day long. And then she'll send a reminder, hey, don't forget, your practice starts at 6 tonight, things like that. So that's really all it is. But if we don't have everybody in there, then you have to make sure that you are keeping up with the communication on the band app and email, okay? And then, so if you don't want to be a part of it, you have to sign out. If you want to be a part of it, you sign in. And that will be in this paperwork that you turn in on May 9th, okay? And then this explains our policies for social media and all of that stuff. Then it explains fees and how that works, fundraisers, your accounts, which we already talked about, and then it'll have the schedule and the pricing sheets on the back of it. So this is like 11 or 12 pages. So we're going to email this to everyone tomorrow. It is the easiest if you go on and you register for tryouts, then we automatically have your email in the email system and we can just click send. I will also go through that and make sure that I have everybody, but it might take us longer to get you that information, but all of this will be sent tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow morning, like pretty much first thing. If you have any questions at all, I know it's Easter weekend, but you can email and let us know. And then again, on the survey, you're able to write out some thoughts or questions, things like that, and we'll be able to maybe communicate with you as far as that goes. After tryouts and after team placement, so I won't be available for personal meetings. I did bunches of them like this past week. I won't be available for personal meetings until after tryouts. So if you have a question or something that needs to be answered about a personal question, we can meet after placements sometime within that week. But then we are going to very, very quickly, like within the first or second week of May, have a parent meeting with each team group so that we can really go over like, here's your team's competition schedule, what it means, how it works, your practice schedule. So then you can ask questions about just your team specifically and not just the gym. Does that make sense? So we'll have all of that soon. Haley is having a baby soon, so it's going to be around that time, but I'll make sure that we get that scheduled and you guys will have meetings with me and all that. So again, thank you. I'm not sure if I forgot anything or missed anything. I know it was super long, but I'm going to go ahead and dismiss everybody. Let me answer your question real quick, just in case it's bad. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I don't. So I know that was a big part of tonight. We were told that it's 30 days after you approve it. So our rep emailed the company, and I guess there's a lot of stuff going on with Worlds, and she got a response that it would be sent the 30th. And I asked her why, and she said, I don't know why, because it's supposed to be 30 days after you approve it. This is more like 45 days. So she's put in a request to answer the question why. I know they've just been busy, but I don't know if it's because we are requesting a prep style uniform also that looks just like the elite uniform. And we don't, she's been like out of town all week too. And then we also requested like a Leo option with different like options to see. So I don't know if that's why, but she hasn't gotten back with me. But we're gonna order super early so they will have time to get everything done. I do trust that we'll have everything done. And I would love to show you a picture, but again, I haven't even seen it, and I promise you're gonna look at a picture and go, I don't know what that means. Like, it just looks like a drawing. It's literally a sketch. So it just doesn't look as impressive, and so I'd really rather have somebody wear it and like video it and do like a review. So but it's really pretty that I think, I hope. So I haven't seen it either, but like one mom was saying too, like their dance costumes, they don't have bling on them. And when you get them, you're like, ooh, they're not that cute. But then when you see them with all the rhinestones and stuff, you're like, wow, that's beautiful. So in pictures, you can't see where rhinestone placement is or anything. So I will tell you that we are looking at doing a mint mesh Leo, which is gonna look really cool with it for any team that are junior and youth, junior, senior mini. So we'll have Leo, but we'll still do the cross. So yeah, but great question, because I really wish I was pushing for it and asked every day, like, have a parent meeting on 18th, I want to show everybody. So, but we'll have it soon, and I'll do a reveal, and then I can invite everybody back in the gym. If you want to come in, I'll show everybody. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dismiss you guys, and then if you have personal questions, I'll be here. My mom is somewhere and still sleeping, so well, Debbie can maybe answer some things if she knows.